Hello, this is Jessica with On a Stack of Books, and today is a book craft, book page book craft. I am scrapbooking some bookmarks that are the 3 tags. So they sort of kind of go together visually, but then I'm also incorporating some vocabulary words in the bookmarks that I just thought would be fun. What words have you had to look up while you are reading a book? You're reading a book and you come across a vocabulary word that contextually you think you can figure out. You kind of get the gist, you kind of get where, what they're talking about. But my brain sort of becomes this nagging, like, I don't know exactly what that means. And so I have to look it up in order to fully understand what's happening here. Luckily, because our cell phones are usually right next to us, they're very handy. We can just look up the word really quickly and we figure out, okay, what it is, if we were right or if we were way off. And I have not kept a running list from when I started reading, but I've looked up tons of words. And I think depending on what you read, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just, if you're reading things that are challenging, they're difficult, there's variety, I think it's a good thing. You're learning words. And so it's neither good nor bad, but just as you're reading, I think it's normal that you're going to come across words that you don't know the meaning to. So as I was doing this paper craft, I just thought it would be fun to incorporate some of these words. And the first one stuck out in my brain because, like I said, I didn't keep a running tally of these words over all of the years that I've been reading. But this one sticks out because the first time I read it, I had to look it up and I was like, oh, okay. But then I saw it again in a second book, completely unrelated later on. And then I saw it in a third book and I was like, well, that's really bizarre because I had never seen the word before, used before, or heard it in conversation. So I just found it odd. So it stuck with me because I saw it 3 separate times. And the word is tarpaulin. And the definition of tarpaulin is a very sturdy, heavy canvas that has been covered in tar or tarred canvas for, drop cloth or for, like a roof or a covering of some sort. It's waterproof. And the abbreviated common word is tarp. And again, I had never seen tarpaulin before, and so when I looked it up, they can be interchangeable, but usually tarp is a flimsier material, probably more of like a plastic coating. But I just found it odd that like in these 3 different books that I saw it, that they wouldn't use the abbreviated word. They wouldn't use tarp. They were using tarpaulin. And so it was just kind of fun. So I made the little bookmarks, and so I've got my little bookmark, and then I left the back blank because I will keep a pen or a pencil near me. I'll mark down, or if I want to journal and find if there's another word that I have to look up, and if I don't have my phone right by me, or if I just want to remember the word. And so these are the 3 that I did for tarpaulin. And so oddly enough, the second word, it's actually from the same book, which I did not realize as I was doing this craft project. And I was like, oh, they actually are from the same book. But the second one it's actually 2 words, and it comes from the book. I was reading Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. And I did do a read with me, walk with me. I think it was one of the first videos that I did, a read with me, walk with me. And that first chapter like really grabs you and really gets you. And I think tarpaulin is in that first chapter, but these 2 words that are in the book are later on in the book, and it is flotsam and jetsam. And I know what you're thinking. Ursula's eels, flotsam and jetsam, because I will be 100% honest with you, that is exactly where my brain went, and I was like, flotsam, jetsam. And so I was like, oh, that's so funny. Okay, I look it up, and So they are cleverly named and appropriately named as her pets, being eels living in the water, because it deals with debris that is in the ocean. And so you have debris that was accidentally dropped into the ocean, and then you have debris that was purposefully dropped or thrown into the ocean. And the two differences there matter when it comes to who owns what that debris is. Who owns, if whatever it is, if it's from a shipwreck and the ship goes down and all of the items, they either stay down on the bottom of the ocean or they float to the surface, who owns them? So when someone finds it, is it finders keepers? Like, who owns it? And so the flotsam jetsam deals with the ownership of it. And so the flotsam is when an item falls into the ocean. So the original owner does not intend on giving it away or getting rid of it. It fell, and that original owner could then go retrieve it, pay someone to get it or find it, or, argue that they own it. Jetsam is when it is intentionally thrown overboard for whatever reason. And so now it becomes finders keepers. And whoever finds it is now the owner. So it was just a really fun discovery for me, because of course I recognized it as soon as I read it, but I really didn't know what it meant. I'd heard it, but initially my first thought, I was like, oh, it's the names of the eels. Like, that's what it is. So for the flotsam jetsam, I did use some maps with water and some different, airplane or tags, because a lot of times it would be that a plane or a boat or something, that is where a lot of those debris comes from. So I really, enjoy making the crafts and using the old book pages and just kind of having fun with it. But then it becomes a usable, functional item as a bookmark. And so now I've got these bookmarks, and it just kind of reminds me to pay attention when I find a word that I need to look up. I kind of want to make note and keep track of those bookish vocabulary words that I have learned simply from reading, which I think is just one of the many, many perks of reading. So most recently, because like I said, I tried to come up with like a list and go back through and remember. I do remember reading Maya Angelou's Why the Caged Bird Sings. I know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and I had to look up countless words, because her vocabulary is crazy, and there was several things that I had to look up in that book. So recently, right now, the book that I'm reading, I did have to look up a word, and it was subluxation, and it came up several times throughout the story, and by context, I could figure out what it was, but I hadn't really heard that term specifically. So I looked it up, and it is when you get an impartial or incomplete dislocation of a joint or an organ. And one of the reasons why I looked it up, because, you hear it once and then you kept hearing it, and I was like, okay, I think I know what that means. But this poor girl, it's happening to her over and over again. And that just doesn't seem like a good thing. Like, it sounds like she's having like her joint dislocated partially or pulled out of socket. And I don't think that is a good thing. This book is a fantasy dystopian book. And so there are healers. So lucky for her, I guess, she can just get healed and she can go fight again and get her shoulder ripped out again. But so it is fun. So please let me know some of the memorable words that you learned as you were reading that you had to look up. And some of them can be funny, and some of them you're like, I have no idea what that is. But I know for myself, it can really kind of stop that train of thought, because you feel like, if I don't know what this word means, it could change the meaning or the outcome of this whole thing. And I really should fully understand what this is. unless it's just a name. Like I'm talking about vocabulary words. So sometimes you have to push through in order to get it at the other side, but this is vocabulary words. So yes, so this is a fun book paper craft project, just to kind of keep track of the words that I've learned while reading. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I will be reading.